February 14th, 2018, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, a day this country will never forget. This morning, stories of survival. Two victims of high school shootings, Columbine, and 19 years later, Stoneman Douglas.
Plus, we'll be learning more about something that will affect us all, and that is finding the right retirement facility. A big heartfelt welcome back to our very own chef, Ralph Pagano.
Talk about pulling our heartstrings. He's going to share just how much his life changed after his near tragic fire accident. The Balancing Act starts right now. This morning, I'm joined by three very special guests who unfortunately share a common story that has affected our nation as a whole. Krystal Miller was a student at Columbine High School on April 20th, 1999, when her world changed. 12 students and one teacher were killed. On February 14th this year, 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz walked into Stoneman Douglas High School, allegedly killing 17. Carson Campbell was in class that day, and he and his father, Doug Campbell, are here to share their story. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Carson, I want to start with you. Where were you when it all happened?
I was actually right next to the freshman building where the shooter was, and there was one fire alarm that went off in the morning, and then we had a second one, so we were all kind of confused like to why we had two fire alarms in one day.
And you came out of the class?
Yeah, we came out of the classroom, and we heard gunshots, and I saw golf carts like flying over to where it happened, and
what did you do?
Where it was, we ran back in the classroom and went in the closet, and we just kept hearing gunshots, and like we thought it was still a drill. We didn't know because we've originally practiced like shooting drills for that kind of stuff to happen.
And when you realized it wasn't a drill and it was the real thing, what went through your mind?
I was in shock. Like I didn't know. Me and all the kids in the closet didn't know like how to react, and we was just quiet and emotional, and there was kids crying in the closet, and it was hot, so it was like we didn't know.
Doug, let me bring you in. As a parent, I have two girls. You know, your son is enduring this. What did you do?
I was actually in the office and
Working.
My desk. Good friend of mine actually came in that day. First thing he said when he walked in the office, he said, "You know, does your son go to Stoneman Douglas?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I think there's a shooting there." And I just don't know if I heard that.
You didn't process it?
It didn't. No, I didn't process it, and I just.
Were you able to communicate with him?
So I wasn't. I turned on the TV right away in my office, and then it became, at that point, it became something that was really happening.
Krystal, sounds familiar, doesn't it? You went through the same thing.
Yes, almost 19 years today. April 20th, 1999. I was Carson's age. I was 16 years old. And that particular day, I had gone to the library at Columbine High School. And of course, if you recall the events of Columbine, you will remember that the library was the scene of the most intense violence that day. And we heard chaos in and around the school, and a teacher came running through the doors saying, there's guys with guns and bombs. They're shooting students, hide under your table. And had no idea. We thought it was a joke. We thought it was some sort of prank that was happening. And a few moments later, the two gunmen entered, and they, for 7.5 minutes, began their rampage. Those 7.5 minutes felt like an eternity, as they were ending the lives of my classmates, friends, because of the way that they looked, the color of their skin, if they were overweight. And after a few moments, they had come towards our table, and they pushed a chair in underneath of the table, and I felt it hit my arm, and I knew that they were standing right above me, and it was kind of braced for death, wondering what it would feel like when I got shot, wondering if I would die quickly, suffer slowly. And at that moment, they began talking about how they ran out of ammunition. They had to go reload their guns. But they made it clear that they were coming back to kill those of us who were still alive. And so as they left, we got up and escaped the school, the library and the school, before they returned.
How have you changed that tragedy into something where you've been able to help so many students, parents? I mean, you've been such an inspiration since. Talk to me about that.
At 16, it felt like my life was over. So I could have, and who would have blamed me for giving up at that point? Or I could choose to live and live despite everything that had happened to me. And I chose to live, and I didn't exactly know how to do that, but I had a community of people very similar to Parkland, you know, who came around us. I had an amazing family, and I knew that I needed to use my story so that we didn't see these things happen again.
And Carson, you've had an amazing support system too.
Yes.
friends. Tell me about how you guys are holding up and moving forward together.
Well, after it happened, it's kind of like everyone at my school, even the ones that like we lost, are like brothers and sisters to me now, and it's like it brought us all closer together. All the people that at my school I wasn't friends with before, maybe now like I'm really close with. Even though it's sad, it brings us all together, and it's just a great thing.
Doug, have you seen that support where Carson has been able to deal with this, move forward,
Yeah.
and you as a father as well, and your wife?
Yeah, it's really been amazing. We have just a good community of friends, and now the amount of people that are involved in the vigils, you know, just the love and support that we've seen from this community has been amazing, and you know, we're really grateful for that because it's needed this time.
What advice would you give to the community of Parkland today, Krystal?
You know, I think it's important to give the community permission to grieve. As a culture, we do not mourn and grieve very well. And I think exactly even what Carson and Doug are talking about, we are stronger together than we are apart. Yeah. And we need each other. And Carson, the same thing happened at our school where we were able to come together, and we are still linked arm in arm. 19 years later, we are still standing together, but now I believe that great strength and healing comes among those of us who have walked through this. And I hope that I stand as a reminder that this is not the end, that you will get through this, that you can come out on the other side, that there is hope.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Doug, thank you so much for your story. And Carson, thank you so much for being here today. When we come back, we're going to have a very special story with one woman who knew Nicholas Cruz. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Joining me now is Stephanie White, a mother whose child attended Stoneman Douglas High School. She knew the alleged gunman, Nicholas Cruz. Thank you so much for having the courage to come and talk to us this morning. You knew Nicholas Cruz. How did you know him?
My oldest daughter, Ashley, graduated from Stoneman Douglas.
Okay.
When they were younger, she was associated with him, and I actually drove him to school a few times.
And describe his persona.
There were reports of him throwing chairs in the classroom, even when he was in class with my daughter. The teachers, you know, had complaints, sent emails throughout the school. So he definitely seemed like he had some problems.
Was your daughter frightened of him?
No, I feel it's a social problem. We need to be more proactive in the community, from parent to teacher to faculty to community. We just need to take more proactive roles in our children's lives. It's important.
How is your family holding up after all this?
My two children
Must have been tough.
Had a tough time, yes. This is something that children should never have to experience and parents should never go through.
Knowing what you know now, what will you do differently from now on?
Be more proactive in checking my children's social media. Look at the signs, ask my kids, talk to them daily about what's going on in school. If somebody's offered to sell them weapons, if somebody's acting not of the norm in school, if there's bullying going on, if they're struggling, all the way down to how was your day, what's going on.
Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back. With over 70 million baby boomers, the face of retirement is really changing. Today, there are better ways to age successfully and stay independent longer. Here to help us redefine what independence means in 2018 are Lily Donahue and Rick Wigington from Holiday Retirement. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for being here. Let's talk about, the fact that people are living longer, they're healthier, life expectancy is amazing, right? But when you get to that age where the children are worried about you, you know what happens, right? You don't want to give up that independence. And for the children, it's challenging.
It is.
Isn't it?
It really is. We always think that it's just getting challenging for the older person, but in reality, the family member that's trying so hard to keep them in their apartment as long as possible, even though it might not be the best solution. So everyone's kind of in a stressed manner.
People think independence is owning my own house.
Yeah.
You're going to take
it finally.
boots first.
Yes.
I'm not leaving this house.
It's mine. I'm staying here.
All
It's
the
not
while
easy
it's
to do
getting
that.
littler and littler because they've built this mausoleum to themselves, all the preciouses and pretties in this house that they can't let go of. And there's a big world out there they could still be living in.
And now you're bringing, a memory for me of my grandmother who passed away years ago, but she lived to be 96.
Yeah.
And when I say 96, 20/20 vision, she still walked around the block,
Wow.
did exercise. We called her Abby. So we loved Abby very much. And I remember my mom wanting to kind of telling her, you need to move out of the house. She was like, no, me quedo aquí. I'm going to stay here. So how do you help someone like that? Maybe some tips on maybe letting go?
Yeah, the first most important thing is to let go. And sometimes it's really the adult caregiver. In many cases in the US, it's always the daughter. I had to make those same decisions for my parents. You gotta let go. You can't solve the world's problems. You're already doing a big balancing act, right? You're trying to manage your career, you're trying to manage your own family, and then you're trying to manage your elderly parents, and in some cases, your elderly parents of your spouse. So there's a lot going on. I think you gotta let go a little bit, because there's really some great help out there. And more importantly, that alternative option could actually be a better one for them to live more active and be engaged.
Other tips, Rick?
And moving is hard. It's always been hard. But it's also been a normal part of what we do. Anytime we recognize that you could live better near term, whether it's for our own family, you want your kids in a different school district, you're making a little more money, you want a nicer house, the kids move off, you want to downsize. We've always moved. But we do so when we think that life could be better if we move to a different place.
I would say research. So as we were talking about this, you got to do your research. You want to sit with your family members and decide, what are you really looking for? What problems are actually getting harder at home for you? Be honest about them, and then say, okay, these are the things we want to solve. Because not every community solves the same issues for you. So it's important to do that. It's important to think about location, right, as part of that. So what are the needs, or what are the things that are getting harder at home? And then location, is it important? Do I need to be close to my children? Or do I need to be close to my community of where I used to live?
All those factors are really important. And knowing that it's a positive step, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's important.
And I'd say the final advice or tip is, don't get discouraged in the process.
But this is the problem with the discouragement. You say, you sit the mom down or the dad, whoever it is, and you say, it's a retirement community. And what happens? Deer in the headlights.
Absolutely.
Negative connotation, right? Absolutely. So how do we change that? Because that's not easy to hear.
Well, it's that old stereotype of nursing home light, or sickly, frail. It's the place you go to end.
Everybody's like
to keep
this,
going.
not moving, no one's going to take care of me.
It is so different now with modern senior living communities.
And let's talk about that. I know you're located in 42 states, correct? All right, which is a lot, practically all over the country.
Exactly.
And you're very unique in your approach, so tell me about that. Let's now bring this now into a positive step.
Absolutely. There's so many cool things to do in our communities. Obviously, the meal preparation is a big, important piece.
Yeah.
Because as we know, we get older, what you put in your body still really matters. And oftentimes, older people will choose what's easy to do. So now that problem is kind of taken away for you, right? So you can eat better. You're obviously being more active because you've got a bunch of friends and you've got some activities that the whole community is kind of putting together. So whether it's dancing or singing or going to a museum, there's lots of things to do. Yeah, really cool stuff. And one of the coolest things about holiday, I think, is from my parents, I think this is one of the neatest ideas, is because we're in 42 states and we have over 260 communities, you can actually, it's part of your all-inclusive, so it's no additional cost to you, you can actually travel to any holiday community, stay for a week, hang out with
I want to go be with my BFF.
Exactly.
And she's in Boca while I'm in Fort Lauderdale.
Then you do it. You do it. You set up. You schedule it.
Or you meet somebody special, and I want to go see him.
I wasn't going to say that, but I was definitely thinking it. We've had marriages and relationships develop.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah. So the idea is really,
But it's
like,
real.
It's real, and it's real life, right? That's what's cool. What you're trying to do is you're trying to keep real life going.
Yeah.
It's real people
That's
serving
fantastic.
real people, and so it's a really neat thing.
What about affordability, Rick?
We're very modestly priced. There are some options you could spend north of $20,000 a month. And then there's government low-income subsidized options for elderly people.
Okay.
We're right in the middle. And with over 30,000 folks who currently call us home, a lot of people think we're the best value for the dollar.
Well, I think I found my place for my husband and me when we grow old together.
We'll be there with you.
For our viewers who would like more information right now, where would they go?
Oh, so you can absolutely go on our website, which is holidaytouch.com. But more importantly, I'm sure you'll agree with me, is go visit one of our communities.
Yeah.
We're in 42 states. We're probably, very close to where you are. You'll never learn better about what's happening in our communities than meeting the people that are working there and meeting the people who live there.
Fantastic. I would definitely need salsa and merengue every day.
Hey, we can take care of that for
Very
you.
important. I'll see you soon. And of course, if you'd like more information, you can go to our website, and that's thebalancingact.com. Okay, Ralph, so here we come.
Oh my gosh.
You look so
Awesome.
good.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's so great to
Just
see
so
you
good
in
to
the
see you.
studio. Welcome back.
What do you think of the set?
Wow, amazing.
Don't
this
you
place
love
looks
it?
fantastic. You both look fantastic.
Are you
The
kidding?
set-
You
the
look
set
great.
looks fantastic.
The kitchen looks
looks
great.
fantastic.
And you look like a superstar.
Well, listen,
Superstar. You know,
I
Ralph,
do this whole thing. right?
You're such a big part of this family, from All Mixed Up hosting that and our resident chef, and it just feels so good to have you sitting right here.
Thank you so much. It just means the world to be here. And, there's been so much care and concern. I just want to say thank you so much. It really means the world.
And we so appreciate you coming in and talking about what happened last summer. It changed your life.
Yeah, in an instant. I was just going about my normal day, and there was a malfunction in a fuel delivery. It ignited. It was this real aggressive explosion, and it just blew me back. My hair was smoldering, like I could smell it, right? And then
God.
skin was coming off my arm. So it's all, the process for a minute, right? I didn't know what had happened, right? Because I lost, the seconds of time, what happened.
then you realized.
And then I stood up, and, and I have skin hanging off my arms and my legs, and I was like, this is probably not good. I got to change it.
We see you've got sleeves on.
Yeah, so I wear compression sleeves, 4 skin grafts, 4 blood transfusions. I had placenta and amniotic fluid used to prevent the scarring. The doctors and the science certainly prevail, but the whole world around me making me feel good, I think really means something.
And how did this incident redirect your life and refocus you?
My career has always been a major piece of the function. And my job as a chef, I joke around all the time that, chefs work 2 days to everybody else's 1 day, right? Because there's been a lot of sacrifice to have a successful career, and I've been very lucky. I've been successful, and I've got a beautiful wife and a beautiful family. But I was working with my head down all the time, and sometimes leaving the house at 7 in the morning and coming home at midnight when you have 2 little kids that are twins that are 2 years old. That's not necessarily, it's what I have to do. But what I thought I had to do, how about that? Because now I realized that when I was in the hospital for 2 months, I wasn't doing that. And then I've been in my rehab, for 4 months after that. I realized that I can change my life to be my work to fit my life rather than my life to fit my work.
She needs help. She says you need help.
My grandmother used to say to me, walk with a purpose
with
when
a
you do
purpose.
something, right? And now I believe I walk with a purpose, and I think that purpose is to understand that it's not just, chasing a career dream, but a life dream.
I know you brought something special for us to see. That means a lot to you.
Well, I find that a good sense of humor goes a long way, so I've got new shirts made up. They're available at RalphPagano.com. You too can be fireproof.
Fireproof.
That is great, Ralph.
And next time we'll wear them. We'll wear them. We'll be your advertisement.
Here's the best part. Fireproof, but always get naked.
Everything's better when you're naked.
Ralph, we've got a new kitchen for you. We can't wait to get you back in there.
I'm super excited about it. Maybe we can start with cold food first. Right?
Cold, quick bites
Yeah, that's it.
with Ralph Pagano.
So great to have you in the studio today. You just look wonderful.
So good to be here. Thank you so much. It really means the world. Thank you.
And of course, if you'd like to learn more about Chef Ralph Pagano and why he means so much to us, where do they
you
go?
can go to thebalancingact.com. You'll find lots more there.
We adore him.
Yep.